good to be back in the mix. It's good to be here in the group again, and adding some value and hopefully moving people forward here, right? Who want patients who will arrive, pay, and stay, which is the mindset around patient success leading to business success, right? And that's where I want to start the conversation today, is this mindset around the connectedness of arrive, pay, and stay. And what I find in clinics that I work with consistently is there is a disconnect. Believe it or not, it makes sense to you. I say it, it rhymes, it sounds good. You say, great, Jerry, yeah, arrive, pay, and stay. That's very straightforward. And I say, well, you know what? Yet the connectedness of arrive, pay, and stay, what's most important from the high level and what we have to understand. And this is my whole principle of your business as an ecosystem. When we're doing something upstream like marketing or sales, so putting content out there or answering the phone and someone says, hey, I'm interested in whatever it is you're doing, the connectedness of what happens then to downstream has a huge impact on your business, bigger impact than you ever imagined. And all you have to do is listen to some of my talks. You can probably go back to my YouTube page or maybe on my podcast. Probably my podcast would be the best place, and look for the podcast or the YouTube titled Your Business as an Ecosystem, where I talk about this in depth. What I want you to remember here today is this upstream impact on the downstream results, cancels, no-shows, drop-offs, completed plans of care, right? All those things are impacted immensely and have a greater ROI the further upstream you manage them. And this is this mindset around the leaky bucket that I want to talk about today. And I love this term, leaky bucket, because if you think about pouring water into a bucket with a bunch of holes, right? The more water you dump into the system, actually, the faster the water leaks out if there are holes in the bucket. If you do not see the holes, if you do not understand the holes, then you believe the only way to keep the bucket full, bear with me here, is to keep dumping more water into the bucket. The water are our patients, our people, our leads. The bucket is your business. And you can turn up the water, right, at the hose. You can turn it up and increase the amount of water you're putting into the bucket. Yet the time, the money, and the energy spent on getting the water into the bucket is wasted, and there's a loss, right? There's a loss of that if there are holes in the bucket. And holes in the bucket is water leaking out. So let me walk this back. The water is leads coming into your business. The bucket is your business. And then the holes are what? Drop-offs, cancels, no-shows, and leads. This is another one too, and leads that were not managed properly. So, right? So think about leads coming in your business for this last one, where someone calls them, they don't answer the phone, and nobody follows up. Or they answer the phone, and they might say, right now is not the best time, and nobody follows up. So this poor lead management also is a hole in your leaky bucket. So let's go back. You got leads coming into your business. So whether it's web forms, whether it's Facebook ads, whether it's calls, whether it's faxes, whether it's walk-ins, right? That's the water flowing into the bucket. And then what we want to do is to be able to adjust the volume of the water properly, your marketing, so that the bucket stays full at all times, which means periodically, right? You turn your marketing way down. If your business is busy, you're not going to stop marketing, but you're going to flow the water, you're going to slow the flow of the water into the bucket. Everybody these days is believing that the only solution to growth in the business is more marketing. And typically what I see is because they have a leaky bucket. Without fixing the leaks in your bucket, you'll never truly know the ROI of your marketing. So I want to get back to leaky bucket. And this drop-offs, no-shows, cancels, and poor lead management being the biggest value and money suck out of your business. If you've paid $10,000 for marketing this month, $1,000, $5,000, and you poured that marketing in your business and you failed to follow up with 20, 30, well, sorry, I should say, if 20 to 30% of those people drop off, cancel, no show, or have no follow-up, that means you just blew $300 worth of marketing. And then do that month after month after month. That's that value suck I'm talking about. So if we manage these leads better upstream, no pun intended, then we can slow the flow of marketing in the business, no new marketing, and we can increase all those numbers you're looking to increase. Because think about this, if we decrease drop-offs, if we decrease cancels, if we increase completed plans of care, if we increase lead management, all those numbers lead directly to increased revenue with no new marketing, with no new services, with no new products, with no new hires. So what you must do today is start to examine the leaks in your bucket. We don't want to manage, right? Think about the business as an ecosystem. We don't want to manage cancels, drop-offs, no-shows, because that means we're going to take care of them at the time they're happening, and that's too late. So we have to go upstream to solve no-shows, cancels, right? Drop-offs, so that we can get increased completed plans of care. We have to make sure we have a lead management follow-up system in place so that we can make sure that more people who are the right fit for the company are going on the schedule. People who call today who don't schedule doesn't mean they will never schedule. All right, we must remember that. Not all people you contact today are appropriate to schedule today, but you're going to start building a relationship with them and building a follow-up program. So this poor lead management or lack of lead management is one of the 4 holes in your leaky bucket. And here's my challenge to you today. Before you choose to spend more money on marketing, I want you to examine the holes in your bucket. I want you to look at your cancels. I want you to look at your no-shows. I want you to look at your drop-offs. I want you to look at your current lead management follow-up system before you determine to change your marketing. I would argue most people don't need new marketing. How do you like that? Your Facebook feed would tell you otherwise. You don't need more water. You don't need to turn the volume on. You don't need to turn the volume of people coming into the business until you understand what's happening with them in the business. I'm not going to go into it too much in depth today, but once you spend all that money to get the person to connect with you, right, getting them on the schedule, right, is what drives down your cost per lead, your cost per schedule, your cost per completed plan of care. And then all of a sudden you realize you don't need more marketing, because if you're going to manage cancels, drop-offs, no-shows, right, and that lead management, if you're going to manage all of that better, you're going to realize and start to collect the data to improve your marketing upstream. So you'll take that information. What was it we did, right? Who are these people that are arriving, paying, and staying? You'll have a better read for them. You have a better understanding for them. Then you feed that back into your marketing, your website, your Facebook, right? Your conversations with doctors. It doesn't matter, your community events. And then you will get better leads into your business. So at no point, potentially, are you turning up the volume of the water. You're just keeping that steady flow coming, right? And if people are arriving and paying and staying, then you don't need more volume of marketing. So this whole leaky bucket idea is built around this arrive, pay, and stay. And if we don't understand the connectedness of arrive, pay, and stay, then we will constantly be going back to marketing and looking for new marketing solutions, more marketing. And I challenge you today to look at this leaky bucket. Look at the cancels, look at the no-shows, look at the drop-offs, look at your current lead management system, especially meaning the people who don't schedule. I've signed 2 new clients recently, and one of the first things we had to do was follow up with all their leads that they had not followed up with because they were too busy. So they'd spent all this money to put these people into the bucket, and they sat there. And I guarantee you, right, those people that came in a month, 2 months ago weren't the same people that, right, you were going to have a phone call with today. So the lead management of current leads, the lead management of leads who don't schedule, right? There needs to be a plan for all these people. There needs to be a plan of how we structure that first contact, the golden moment, the front desk sales conversation. There needs to be questions asked, and there needs to be follow-up systems in place. Those who get on the schedule, to move them towards arrive and pay. Those who don't get on the schedule, to nurture them, to move them towards future arrival and pay. Then we must look at, right, cancels, no-shows, drop-offs. Here's the good news. We don't need 4 different systems for managing all this. I'm going to tell you, right, the training and the structure of what the front desk needs to do in that first, there are 3 sales processes in your business. And the first one is the most important one. That's that initial contact, right? That's the first contact with your front desk person. Now, I'm here to tell you that when we set up one structure and one template to manage leads, it actually impacts all 4. It leads to a lead management system. It decreases your cancel, decreases your drop-offs, and decreases your no-shows. Now you have a better feel for the flow of the business. Now you understand truly how much marketing you need. And I'm going to tell you that if you want to increase the spend on your marketing, it will be because it leads to true growth in your company. You shouldn't have to pay more and more marketing every month to maintain your business. If you're paying more and more for marketing and getting more leads and your business isn't growing, and by the way, move to scaling, we'll have that conversation at a different time, then you've got a significant leaky bucket. If you've got provider burnout, if you've got right front desk people that are burned out, if you got frustrated team members, right? This all has to do with having to manage cancels, no-shows, and drop-offs is one of the most stressful things in the business and one of the most poorly managed things in anybody's business consistently that I've seen over the last 10 years. It wasn't my business. Now I'm finding it true in other businesses. So my challenge to you today is to stress and look at the leaky bucket in your business. Don't look at the marketing. Look at the cancels, look at the no-shows, look at the drop-offs, look at the lead follow-ups. This is the other thing, right? Everybody say, I have low cancels, I have low drop-offs, I have low no-shows. I go, cool, right? But then they have literally, I'm dealing with 2 companies who literally have all that, and they have 300 leads, 300 leads in the top of their funnel. That's money you're flushing down the toilet. That's the leaky bucket. If you're not following up with those leads in a timely manner, that's the leaky bucket because they're not going to answer the phone. They're not going to schedule. They scheduled elsewhere. Money spent to acquire that lead, raised their hand and said, hey, I'd like to talk. Maybe I'd like to do business with you. I'd like to learn more. Maybe I'd like to schedule. And you said, don't have time. I'm like, why'd you spend the money on the marketing? Leaky bucket. Cancels, drop-offs, no-shows, poor lead management. All part of your leaky bucket. Examine that before you do anything new with your marketing, okay?